Okay, aside from the idea that they didn't get players, let's go all the way back, rewind back to what I just said. Initially, when the first asking price came out for what they wanted for Jakob Chychrun, it was 2 firsts and a second. And then as we went along, it became clear a team might want to move a first round pick that they already have. Well, it had to be somebody that the Coyotes liked, first of all. It's not just, oh, he was a first round pick, so you'll take this guy. It has to be somebody that their scouts actually like. But the initial desire was just to get the draft capital, 2 firsts and a second. They didn't get that. They got a first and 2 seconds, unless something crazy happens, which I don't see it happening because I don't even think Ottawa's getting into the playoffs. The other thing that I had mentioned was if this trade did not happen by the deadline and they got to the draft, Bill Armstrong might be okay with just 1 first if he knows that that first is going to be a higher pick. I've used the example how many times now? Say somebody comes with the number 10 overall pick. That might be enough because you know it's a high first round pick instead of, when you're dealing with, say it's Carolina, a team that's going to give you a pick in the late 20s to early 30s. If you get 2 of those or you get the number 10 pick, what do you want? I mean, you want the number 10 pick because you got a much better chance at getting an elite player there. And if you have those other 2 picks, you might try and package them to move up in the first round. So don't freak out that they didn't get 2 firsts. Listen, if Ottawa gets into the playoffs, then this gamble doesn't pay off because you could get a lower pick and it doesn't look like you got requisite return. We don't know what's going to happen there. But the other really important thing that just keeps getting dismissed, it can't, because it impacted this trade enormously. The Coyotes could not retain salary. They couldn't take anything big coming back. We are in a flat cap era where tons of teams just go on Cap Friendly or Puckpedia and look at how many teams are really close to the cap, where if Jakob Chychrun moves in, could they absorb that without moving something back out? There just aren't that many teams. So when the Coyotes cannot take back salary, that's a problem in negotiations for a trade. They're going to limit their options, and they're probably going to drive down the price. Is that Bill Armstrong's decision? No, it's not. This is an ownership decision, and we can dive into that further, and I plan to dive into that further, that thinking, because on the one hand, you get that this team is losing a lot of money. They're playing in a college arena. They don't have a lot of other ancillary revenue sources right now. They're not a good team. There's a lot of things that are going wrong at the moment for them from a revenue standpoint. So from that perspective, you could say, okay, I get it. Ownership doesn't want to spend. Flip side, though, if you're hamstringing your general manager in his efforts to improve your team down the road, when that improvement would likely also lead to more revenue, is that the right approach? Is this a penny-wise, pound-foolish approach? That's something that we should be examining because you really need the team to get better on the ice. If the Coyotes don't improve substantially, it doesn't matter what else happens because in this town, you have to win. And when you're limiting your general manager's ability to do that, that's an approach that should be questioned.